So there's an interesting article here from Talking Points Memo that highlights an issue that we've been talking about, but unfortunately not many other people have been talking about it. Houston drainage grid's Depression-era design so obsolete for Harvey Fury. Here's what they say. Houston's system of bayous and reservoirs was built to drain a tabletop flat city prone to heavy rains, but its Depression-era design is no match for the stresses brought by explosive development and ever wetter storms. Nearly any city would be overwhelmed by the more than 4 feet of rain that Hurricane Harvey has dumped since Friday, but Houston is unique in its regular massive floods and inability to cope with them. This is the third 100-year or more type of flood in 3 years. Experts blame too many people, too much concrete, insufficient upstream storage, not enough green space for water drainage, and especially too little regulation. Houston is the most flood-prone city in the United States, said Rice University environmental engineering professor Phil Bedient. No one is even a close second, not even New Orleans, because at least they have pumps there. The entire system is designed to clear out only 12 to 13 inches of rain per 24-hour period, said Jim Blackburn, an environmental law professor at Rice University. That's so obsolete, it's just unbelievable. So, the aspect of this that we've been talking about that unfortunately doesn't get much play elsewhere is, it's in the title. The drainage grid is a Depression-era drainage grid. So you know what that means, right? It was built in the New Deal. What do we always talk about on the show? What do Justice Democrats talk about? What's in the Justice Democrats platform? We want a New Deal. Look, that's not just like, maybe we don't expound on it enough, so it's unclear exactly what that means, but when we say we want a New Deal, that means you create millions of jobs around this country, rebuilding our infrastructure. Right now, our infrastructure gets a grade of D+. So that means you need a giant overhaul. I mean, all of the failing structures, the bridges, the roads, you name it, the dams, the levees. So you have to rebuild all this stuff. It's a giant investment in this country because that pays dividends for a long time. You build a modern infrastructure. You make it number one in the world. You take it from a D+ to an A+. You invest in it. You give people jobs. The country would look so much more beautiful if you have modern infrastructure and you fix problems like this. They have a Depression-era infrastructure. Their drainage system is from the New Deal. They simply don't have enough drainage. Why would we not do a New Deal and also basically make U.S. cities flood-proof? It's not like we don't have the technology and we don't have the ability to create state-of-the-art A+ drainage systems that could deal with the once-in-a-thousand-year storms. We have that ability. We just don't do it. And we don't do it. And they go on to explain it in this article, too. It's not just the corruption at the federal level, which is clear. We all know Congress and the Senate and the presidency. It's bought and owned by corporate America. That's what campaign contributions are for. The corporations buy and own the politicians. But it's even at the state level and at the local level. You have moneyed interests lobbying against having better drainage. Why? Because they want to use the areas that would be used for drainage to build more. Build more condos, build more townhouses, but whatever it may be. So they don't have enough drainage because there were moneyed interests saying, we don't want that, we want to build here and make money off of it. So the money needs to get out of the political system, and we need to do a New Deal to rebuild our infrastructure, take it from a D+ to an A+. Wouldn't it be amazing to look around and go, holy shit, this airport used to be a piece of shit. Now it's the state-of-the-art best in the world, one of the best airports in the world. There are people who talk about it. Oh, you travel from, some other country, you're in the airport, you're like, this is gorgeous. And then you come back to the U.S., you're like, this looks like a third world nation when you get to the airport. Why not rebuild our airports, rebuild our infrastructure across the board? You create so many jobs, you make the country more beautiful. And by the way, I don't think this is a partisan issue. I think there are some people on the right who are such deficit hawks and fiscal conservatives are like, no, I don't believe in infrastructure spending. But your average Joe in Arkansas or Mississippi or Kentucky, it's not like they say, I'd like to have a D+ infrastructure and to have everything look like shit. No, that's one thing. You can make an argument for them because they can see the tangible benefits. They can see the job creation. They can see the improvement of the roads. They can see the improvement of the dams. They can see how everything is much more safe. They can see the airports better, so on and so forth. So we have the ability, we have the answers. It's just the corporate money is preventing us from going in that direction, and shitty politicians are preventing us from going in that direction. Justice Democrats are for a New Deal. We're for the job creation that goes hand in hand with that. We're for making this country have the #1 infrastructure in the world. We're for improving the drainage systems. It's a fucking scandal what happened in Houston. The storm is horrific. But we should be prepared for shit like that, man. And we can prepare for it. We just didn't. We didn't do it. We're too busy spending $7 trillion in Iraq, $2 trillion in Afghanistan, giving a $4 billion subsidy every year to ExxonMobil. And by the way, isn't it crazy? Oil and gas, fossil fuels, gave us more climate change, increased the strength of these storms, and then you have it come through and wreck oil country. It's an oil and chemical haven, where the place that got hit in Texas here on the coast. And unfortunately, I bet emergency relief funding is going to go to rebuild some of the oil and gas infrastructure. Not a dime should go to that. It should all go to the people who had their lives destroyed by this. And we need to get off of that, move towards renewable technology, green technology, rebuild our entire infrastructure, and do everything the right way.